Hey guys, so I wanted to pop on here today. I've been, as you know, doing a lot of digging into this CARES Act and the SBA loan and the 7A, the 7B, the PPP, all the acronyms you can think of, the EIDL, they're all stuck up here and I'm working through it. But something hit me today as I was having a conversation with a client of mine. Client's an elderly gentleman. He's like, I've seen a lot of tough times, a lot of them. And the conversation we were having was, he goes, there was literally no warning. There was no warning for this one. He goes, everything else I've dealt with, you could see the writing on the wall. You could see what was coming. You could prepare for it and plan for it. And that pivot was a little easier. And he goes, there was literally no warning for this. 2 weeks. Things were okay. Started to hear about coronavirus. Started to hear about how it was bad. And then boom, it hit. And it hit everyone and it hit hard. And the sad reality of this situation that him and I were talking about was there is no guarantee, guys. There's no guarantee that your business is going to come out of this. And unfortunately, I know I'm saying that, and probably some of you are cussing me out right now and telling me to shut my freaking face. And I'm sorry, but that is the hard reality of the situation we're sitting in right now. There are a lot of businesses that are not going to survive this. I mean, think about it. We've got tens of millions of business owners nationwide. We've got 349 billion allocated funds through some of these programs. That pie doesn't split very equally for everyone. And this right now is a game of speed. Those who act fast, who have the proper stuff put together, who know what they're doing, those are the people that are going to get these funds. But let's look at this a different way, because I've been talking, and some of you may have seen that I have a training coming up on Monday, and we're going to be talking about this, but there's a couple things you don't want to wait till Monday to do. So let me go over those really quick. You don't want to wait till Monday to apply for the SBA loan. Get on their site and apply. That initial application process is simple. Get that part done. If you haven't done it, do it today. The other thing you want to do today, like as soon as you finish watching this video, because there's going to be great content here, so don't jump off here to do it, or do it while you're watching, but call your bank. Call your bank. Find out if they are an SBA approved lender. If they are, tell them you want to start the process. Get it going. Get it moving. Do it. That is the two things you need to do today. Speed is on your side when you move quick through this. There's just no doubt about it. There is not enough funding to save every single freaking business in this country. And so those that move quick are going to be the ones that get the funds. Those that move quick with accuracy are going to get the funds even quicker. So let's go back to these numbers. We've got tens of millions of business owners and only $349 billion. Not everybody's going to get funding. Do I think, based on McConnell's conversations and what he's putting out, that there's going to be another influx of funding for this? Yes, I truly do. But there's no guarantee of that, and you don't want to bank on that right now. That's ridiculous. Don't bank on that. You need to take action now. So when we look at this, so you go through this process, you deal with the SBA, you deal with the banks, you get the money, great. But this is the situation I was talking about with a colleague of mine today. Getting the money is only a small piece, small piece of everything that you've got to do to make this funding work for you the way it should be working for you. I see lots of you guys jumping on. Thank you for hopping on. If you have questions about them in, I'll be watching that. But it's only a small portion of what you have to do to actually make this funding work for you in the way it's supposed to work. So you're hearing all these things thrown out there by the news and by other business owners, and you're hearing, grants and loans and forgivable loans that will have forgiveness attached to them, and like everybody's like, sweet, free money. It's really not that simple. Like, it is that simple, but it's not that simple. There are covenants around this. There's stipulations and requirements of this money that if you don't follow these to the T. So let's say that you're a business owner and that your weekly payroll is like $20,000. So you could get a loan for, hold on, let me do the math really quick. So that is 80,000 times 2.5. So you could get a Paycheck Protection loan for $200,000 through the PPP. We're not even trying to say that because the words just don't slide out of my mouth very well. But through the PPP, you could get $200,000. So what are your requirements of that? People are like, I'm going to just hang on to that $200,000. I'm going to pay my payroll and I'm going to make sure I have some money coming out of this. Wrong. One of the requirements is that you have to spend the money in that 8-week period for it to be forgivable. If you don't, it's not forgiven and you're stuck with a loan. So let's say you take $200,000 and you just cover your payroll and you don't deal with anything else because maybe your landlord's giving you some forgiveness. Maybe your mortgage lender's giving you some forgiveness on the commercial rent. So you go through this and you spend $160,000 on payroll costs. You come out of this with a $40,000 loan that has to be repaid. The terms of this are up to 10 years with a max of 4%. But that 10 years does not mean the bank has to give you 10 years to repay that. You could end up with a $40,000 loan that they're giving you 36-month term, 48-month term, 60-month term. What are those payments? Can your business manage those? Can you handle those? These are the things we need to be thinking of, guys. I don't mean to tell you that your business is not guaranteed to come out of this to scare you, to make you hate me, to make you cuss me out. I want you to see the reality of the freaking situation we are dealing with right now across the country. This is so big. This is something I never thought in my lifetime I would see. This is something that many people, the older generation, never thought they'd see something like this again. Talk to some of these people. They will tell you, like, this happened fast, it happened quick, there was no warning, nobody had time to prepare for this. Nobody at all. Speed right now is your friend. Take action. Do those two things. Apply for the SBA loan, check the box for the grant, contact your banker today. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to register for my training on Monday because I'm breaking all of this down. I'm laying it out and saying this is exactly what you should be doing right now. And the thing you need to understand is what I'm telling you today, what I told you guys yesterday, what you may have talked to me on the phone about, what we may have texted about in the last few days, it may be completely null and void at this point. These things are changing hourly. What I was reading an hour ago, I may have just got an email alert that that's changed and this is now how they're dealing with it. I'm not sitting here telling you guys that I know everything. I'm not sitting here telling you guys I have 100% handle on this. I'm the expert in everything CARES Act right now. But what I am telling you guys is I've done my due diligence. I've done the research. I'm talking to the people I've needed to talk to. I've made those strategic connections to make sure I have those people in my pocket right now. And I'm going to do everything I can to get you guys through this. We are going to have to be diligent. Speed, my friends. Speed, speed, speed. Yes, Tyler, check with your bank to make sure they're an SBA approved lender. If they are an SBA approved lender, tell them you want to start the PPP application. You may not actually qualify for it. Many people may not actually qualify for it. But freaking apply. Let's get those applications in because if you do, it's huge. If you do it right, it can be huge. You can essentially operate your business for 2 months on a forgivable loan if you do this the right way. If you don't do this the right way, you could end up with a loan that you end up having to pay, and it's not going to be pretty when you're looking at your cash flow projections and realize that now you have a loan of X amount of dollars that you've got to figure out how to repay each month after this. So make sure you're doing it right. The second one, Tyler, was to make sure you've applied for the SBA grant. So I will drop in the comments the loan, but if you literally just go sba.gov, it's right across the top in a big yellow bar. Click the link and then go through that. Super quick. Make sure you check that box at the bottom there. Glenn, so no, it's up to 10 years is the guidance right now. So does that mean that Congress is going to come in and force banks to do 10 years? Maybe. But right now, there's no official guidance on that. It just says up to 10 years. And so from a tax standpoint and looking at that in the sense of how all of these acts over the years have come out and how they read, that's basically saying that that is the maximum, but there's no guarantee of that. So as I find out more information, I'll definitely be sharing that. But right now, it just says up to 10 years. So there's no guarantee. There's nothing in there that clearly states that banks have to honor a 10-year. It just says the terms are up to 10 years at a maximum of 4% interest. So you could get a shorter term with lower interest rate, and that might be good. You could get a longer term with the maximum interest rate. That would still be good. But the key here is, regardless, if you're going to go through this program and you're going to qualify for that PPP program, you do not want to end up repaying any of it. Because ideally, if you're getting this, the whole purpose here is that you're putting that money back into your payroll costs, into your operating costs, into your utility bills. So it's payroll costs, which is a very long list of what's included in that, but you've got payroll costs. You've got commercial lease, as long as the lease was executed before February 15th. You've got mortgage interest for your commercial mortgage. However, that doesn't cover your mortgage payment, but it can cover the mortgage interest. And you've got utilities. Those are the things that this can cover and allow you to make it forgivable. So when you do this right and you do this strategically, you could end up with all of this money being forgiven. If you don't do this right and you don't do this strategically, you could end up with a big chunk of money owed at the end of it, having to deal with that. So what would disqualify someone? Alexandra, great question. Unclear answer right now. So there are some requirements for the PPP loan. The initial qualification is that it is based off 2.5 times your payroll costs. So if you don't have payroll costs, you're going to be disqualified. However, what does this mean for sole proprietors? Because you don't cost, but you have the cost of paying yourself. No clear answer on that quite yet. I've been doing a lot of digging on that. No clear answer. When I have it, I will bring it. Hoping to have some definition on that, or some clarification on that by Monday for everybody. Yes, Glenn, spend it all. If you're getting this money, utilize it in the way it's meant to be. Get it out there. Make sure your employees are... That's the whole point of this. I've been talking to people and they're like, well, I'm just going to do this and then I'm going to make sure that I have some money coming out of it. I'm like, no, it's not how it works. Big, fat no, people. The whole point of this program, put yourself in the government's shoes, which none of us really want to do, but put yourself in their shoes for a minute. Payroll or unemployment. I was just reading a statistic. I think we're at 6 million people in the last 2 weeks have applied for unemployment. Holy freaking cow. Like, unheard of in my lifetime. Unheard of. That is insane. This is worse than the crash of 2008, guys. We are seeing more businesses fail. We are seeing higher unemployment rates. We are seeing more layoffs, more hours cut, more detriment economically to our communities than we saw in 2008 from the crash. This is not something, I'm still talking to people that are like, oh, it's going to blow or blown it out of proportion. Yes, possibly. The news is ridiculous. Maybe don't watch the news without some of the stuff. Like, it is a little ridiculous, but the financial impact that it's had to our economy, that's not a joke. That's not being blown out of proportion. This is some serious crap, guys. So, going back to, spend it all, like, the whole point of this is to get people off unemployment. That's a huge burden on our government. Get people off of it. Get them back into their salaried jobs, their payroll jobs. Get them working. Get them thriving in the community. Build that sense of community around this again. So the whole point of this, it's called a Paycheck Protection Program. It is meant to protect your employees' paychecks. So that's the point there. There's a lot of uncertainty around this, guys. There really is. I mean, I've spent since last week when it, what has it been, a week now, a week and a half that it's been signed? I've put in probably close to 40 hours between continuing education courses, reading the bill, interpreting the bill, communicating with colleagues around this. Like, I'm serious, 40 plus hours on this. And it's finally starting to all like meld together in my mind and come together in this perfect picture of like, okay, I get this now. Like, I'm starting to understand the correlation between this and this and this and this and this and where it all matches. But it's not, this CARES Act is not simple. There's so much in here, even beyond the initial funding for businesses, that once we can get through this initial push and the urgency of this, I'll definitely be bringing you guys some information on that. But there's a lot of other stuff in there that is huge. That's awesome. But right now, speed is your friend. Your business is not guaranteed to survive this. And again, I'm sorry for saying that. But the reality of the situation is, on the other side of this, I bet you probably 25 to 30% of the businesses that were in place in March are not there at the end of this year. There's businesses that will get this funding, get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they still might not survive it. So, the things you need to be doing today. If you have not already applied for the SBA 7B loan, which is the one on their website, do so. If you've not already contacted your banker to find out if they're an SBA approved lender, do so. If they are an SBA approved lender, tell them you want to start the application process. Ask them what you need to do. My bank contacted me yesterday and sent me the link for what I needed to do. Now I'm in their queue so that when applications start tomorrow, I'll get one. If they aren't an SBA lender, ask them who they can get you in contact with. Google SBA approved lenders. You'll get a list of 100 banks. KeyBank, Chase Bank, Bank of the West, I'm pretty sure US Bank, Bank of America, like a lot of the major ones are going to be on there. I'm with a local credit union here, Canvas Credit Union. They're an approved lender. Lots more approved lenders getting added every single day. So make sure you do those two things. The third thing that I want you to do, and yeah, the third thing I want you to do, I'm going to just leave it there for the moment, is I want you to create a cash flow projection. That is what it is all about right now, guys. It's not revenue. It's not profits. I'm sorry, but cash is king right now. You need to maximize what you're bringing in. You need to minimize what you're putting out. You need to have ultimate and utter control of every single penny coming in and out of your business. When you do that, your chances of survival are going to increase tenfold. So, again, and the fourth thing you want to do is go ahead and check out my page, either my personal page, my business page, or the Entrepreneur's Profit Corner group. Find the link for the webinar and get started. Because I'm going to break this down so much more in there and give you guys information that you're going to be able to walk out of that with and be like, all right, I don't understand it, but I know what I should do and I might have an idea of what I qualify for now. But don't be hard on yourself if you don't understand what's going on. It's a lot. Like I said, I'm 40 plus hours in right now, and I'm finally feeling like, okay, I can actually have a conversation with somebody about this now without having to be like, hold on, let me flip to my notes here and see exactly what it said about that. 40 plus hours, guys. It's my career. It's what I do. It's what I chose to do. That's why I've spent that time. You shouldn't have to spend that time. So jump onto the web on Monday. Space is limited, so make sure you get registered quick. It is not going to be a recorded webinar, so you do want to make sure you're on live. This information is very time sensitive, so unfortunately, like if you go watch it next Friday, it's probably not going to matter squat that you watched it, except you'll understand what everybody else is doing and what they qualified for. So make sure you jump on the webinar. Make sure you're getting registered for that. If you have any questions, reach out and let me know. I am working 10 times my normal speed back here, which is really fast if you know me. I am diving into this. I'm trying to make sure that I can get everything out to you guys, everything that you need to know. I want to know that every single person on my friend Facebook that is a business owner survives this. That's my goal. How can I help you do that? Let me know. Again, register for the webinar. You're not going to want to miss